As we get closer and closer, a couple of days away from America's 250th birthday, the best statement I've heard about this entire thing so far, and it came from the most unlikely source we'll get to here in a second, is patriotism should be bipartisan. Makes all the sense in the world. And I love that statement. It came from Senator John Fetterman, a Democrat, which is relevant to the story here in just a second. But isn't it kind of unnecessary we should even say that? This should be a time where everybody celebrates our country. Yeah, there's a lot of festivities. It's a lot of patriotism. Listen, I'm a corny flag waver myself. I'll never apologize for that. That's the way it is. But our great American State Fair, which is going on right now, it's got plenty of people who are trying to bag on it. Not only CNN, but you go online and you see all the social media idiots going on there saying, this State Fair, nobody's here. It's like a 16-day thing, and they'll take a video of 9 o'clock in the morning and say, see, it's a dumpster fire. Don't ever listen to those people. But there's something more about this one. It doesn't just go to, regular grassroots, everyday people. There are some states, 11 in all, that aren't participating in the Great American State Fair. In other words, there's a booth there, but it's empty. They won't man it. They won't send any promotional materials like some other states did, so that people will stop by and talk about their state, all over petty, rotten politics. But as we always do in our country, there's always a story of great American patriots stepping up, just like what's happening here. And it's awesome. It'll make you feel great, especially one particular lady. We'll talk about it. Thanks for finding me. Appreciate you. Happy birthday, America. Getting closer and closer. Thanks for finding the Wicked Radio live stream at Podcast, X, YouTube, Facebook. By the way, this went well. Side note, getting tired of the algorithm, so I just put the entire podcast yesterday on TikTok. It went very well. So if you want to find the entire thing and you're tired of fighting through the algorithm, go over there too. And the audio podcast, wherever you like to get them. All right, you've heard about it. Even if you haven't been there, the Great American State Fair is a big, giant celebration and a big kickoff from President Trump and the band and the flyover and the B-2 bombers and all that other stuff. Just the other night, of course, sounded like this. I'm sure you saw it.
Well, thank you, Lee, and hello, Washington, and a very big hello to America. Thank you.
Yeah, sounds like a big crowd to me, despite the little haters online and on X and on YouTube saying, there's nobody here. It's a dumpster fire. It's terrible. And like I said in the introduction, they'll take a video at like 8 o'clock in the morning. And see, no one's here. No one cares. This is all about Trump's ego. No, it's about America. And I keep going back to that expression and that saying I said in the first part of it. It should be bipartisan. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your life experience is. I don't care how long you've been an American. We should all be celebrating this instead of trying to bag on it. But that's not the same deal. Now let's get some details about this Great American State Fair and some of the details because the timeline matters here. It's a 16-day event. Keep that in mind. It kicked off on the 25th of June. It's going all the way to the 10th. The National Mall in Washington, D.C. It's part of the celebration. A lot of things going on there. They have all these, on the side buildings there in the National Mall, they have all these displays for all the individual states to show their attributes, their accomplishments, their history, all that cool stuff, except for these states. And I bet you in your head right now you can even guess which ones aren't playing along, which states aren't representing at all, except for maybe like a nameplate, Connecticut, no big surprise there. Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, he would never send anybody there to be part of the American celebration. Maine, Massachusetts, even less surprising. North Carolina, actually pretty surprising. Oregon, Rhode Island, Vermont, Washington State, and Pennsylvania, with others like Hawaii, sometimes listed. We don't know what's going on with Hawaii, whether they FedExed any banners over or not, but that's what's going on with the Great American State Fair and who's not participating. Now, Fox News, of course, this is like right in their wheelhouse. So they brought in just yesterday Doug Burgum, the Interior Secretary, to talk about this. They didn't really give him a lot of chance to talk, but they did set up, they kind of cut him off, but they did set up the situation perfectly of what's going on. Who's not participating and why?
11 of our 50 states apparently are not participating. And Emily, it's hard to, how do you tell your constituents, I represent all of you no matter how you vote, we're all Americans together, but our state's not going to the fair because I hate Donald Trump? Because that's essentially what Josh Shapiro is saying.
Unequivocally, the message is my politicization of this, my hatred for an individual, my lack of respect for the office of the presidency, and my clearly lack of respect for the United States of America completely trumps, no pun intended, my public service of my occupation.
It's rotten. It's petty. It's of course, you know. I mean, to make their little rotten political statements, there's a lot of them there. Well, let's go to some of those. So what is it like when you would actually go to the mall? I haven't been there. You probably haven't either. And you go to some of these states, I guess, you know, places like, you know, Montana have these cool things going on, and they, you know, show that the states what their attributes are, what some of their natural resources are, some of their history. But then you stop by a place like Rhode Island. Here's a little example. One of their state reps stopped by and they said, let's see what my home state is offering. Not much.
This is Rhode Island's contribution to America's 250th birthday. There it is, folks. It's an empty booth. A state that helped found this very nation couldn't show up to celebrate it. Rhode Island's story is the American story. It's the birthplace of religious liberty. It's the state that held out on signing the Constitution until we had the Bill of Rights. But our state leader said, nope, it costs too much. But let's be real.
Oh, that was just the cover story. Don't buy that at all. It's not because it costs too much. What does it cost to send some sort of a summer volunteer and intern over there to man the freaking booth and send some posters? Not much. Don't buy that at all. This isn't about cost. This is about you not wanting to be tied at all to what they're calling President Trump's Great American State Fair, which nobody attends. More on that in just a second. That's what this is about. Now, in the intro there, they also mentioned Pennsylvania. Governor Josh Shapiro refuses to participate. He hasn't talked about cost. He's talked about this not wanting to be part of Trump at all. At least the guy is honest about it and why they're not participating. Senator John Fetterman was on talking about that, and he said, and more on him because he stepped up big time, and he said, this is ridiculous. He's the guy, I said there in the introduction, who came out with that great statement, and that keeps rattling around in my head during this entire time. Patriotism should be bipartisan. Take the frickin' politics out of it.
Neither one of us, we didn't really understand why we wouldn't do it. And now I watched that list of states that didn't provide a booth. Now they all seem like they were blue control kinds of states. I have no reason why they didn't to do it. But when it's, 250 years to celebrate America, why wouldn't you make sure that your state's going to be there? And now in turning it into owns about, no, there's not this or not this, whatever thing, patriotism is bipartisan. And I hate to see people arguing. And I see the polls of people in my party, I think it's maybe 30% of them roughly are insanely proud to be American or they're proud of America. I am.
John Fetterman gets it. He's an amazing story. I know I've spent a lot of time talking about him, but I made such a drastic mistake in thinking. Remember when he had the stroke and he told everybody, I'm going to heal, I'm going to get better. When he got better, he started making more sense than anybody else in his party. Anybody else. You know how much guts it takes to be able to say something like that with the lunatics that are now surrounding him in his own party? Well, he also mentioned somebody else there. The other senator, John McCormick from Pennsylvania, also stepped up. Went there himself. Found some volunteers. They made sure that Pennsylvania was well represented. Good for him, too.
Hi, everyone. This is unbelievable. We're in our booth. As of Saturday, there was nothing, and Senator McCormick and Senator Fetterman stepped in. And this guy, Jeff, stepped in with all these incredibly beautiful flags. I think we have the nicest booth on the mall. We've had an army of volunteers come down here. And now, look, you have Pennsylvanians and people from all over the country seeing what Pennsylvania's all about.
Good for Pennsylvania. No, good for Pennsylvanians who wanted their state to be represented. I think that's fantastic. The two senators led the way on that thing, and they got volunteers to go there, which is fantastic. That's great. There's also this. This lady heard about her state not getting represented. She's also from Pennsylvania. I guess she has a Christmas tree farm. That's what her family business is, and she does. So she took one of the trees. Again, these are volunteers. She took one of the trees, she loaded it up on top of her truck, and she drove to D.C., and she brought a Christmas tree to the Pennsylvania booth at the Great American State Fair. This is the lady talking about it. This is American patriotism in action.
To be able to have this opportunity.
Beth Ann, I have to ask, was this a big deal that Pennsylvania was not even going to have a booth? 50 states, you weren't going to be there.
Considering our history of PA in our state, I was shocked and confused. I double-checked to make sure our association had not been reached out to, and we were not. We will always step up, no matter what time of the year, to help spread the joy of our crop. We may not feed people, but we feed their soul at Christmas tree time, at Christmas time. And so I am so happy that we still get the opportunity, and I'm glad that Senator McCormick and Fetterman stepped up to make sure that we can tell our story and be there as well.
That is great. And she made it there. I guess she made it to the Pennsylvania booth at the Great American State Fair. They put up the tree, and everybody loved it. That's what this is about. This is why, and this is the overall takeaway. Every time you start to think that, you hear state governors refusing to participate in Great American State Fair over politics. Every time you hear something like that, and you start to think, oh, my God, this country's going to hell in a handbasket. Don't ever buy it, because that's the few and far between just left-wing lunatics that are self-hating. They hate themselves. They hate that they're consumed by politics. The real America is that lady. The real America is the leadership shown by Pennsylvania's 2 state senators who stepped up and they said, that's not right. This is not good. We're going to make sure that this is taken care of. The real America are the people that are showing up for this thing and not buying all the clicks online and all the other crap that no one's showing up for this thing. It's Trump's ego dumpster fire, the Great American State Fair. Yeah, okay, you took your video at 8 o'clock in the morning on like a Thursday. It's a 16-day event. It's not always going to be packed. This is also America, and this is my favorite story of the entire thing, because this lady was completely on her own. Now, it's one thing to come to put together an army of volunteers to make sure that Pennsylvania is represented, which is awesome. That's great. But when from a state like Massachusetts, and I can speak to this because that's where I'm from originally, and I have so many relatives that are still there, for you to volunteer and to go on your own, literally solo, to represent your state's booth, that takes a special level of guts. I'm going to show you a still shot here of a lady. All we know is her name is Donna. She heard about the ridiculous, far-left, blue, disgusting leadership of Massachusetts refusing to participate in the Great American State Fair, and she said, that's not right. Now, when you're from Massachusetts and you're surrounded by clueless, absolutely moronic Democrats at times, and this is a special breed of Democrat, it takes a special level of guts to do this. I'm going to show you a still shot here. This is her manning the booth for Massachusetts. She didn't have a lot. She didn't have an army of volunteers. She didn't have the Christmas tree like the Pennsylvania lady. She didn't have banners. She didn't have her Liberty Bell. She had some pamphlets that she went to the State Department and got, and she had some flyers, maybe a poster, and that was it. Her name is Donna. And audio listeners only, sorry, this is just a still shot of Donna. I just want to show this to you now. This is her at the booth, all alone, completely volunteering, just to make sure her state was represented. Again, I go back to this. Whenever you hear and see all the loudmouths out there and people with big platforms and mainstream media networks bagging on this country and saying we're falling apart, you think about people like Donna and the people like those volunteers in Pennsylvania and the other states that showed up, and the Christmas tree lady, and they stepped up to make sure their states were represented because they have that much pride. That's the real America. That's what we're talking about here. Oh, and by the way, speaking of real America, you know how they're always saying that, nobody wants to participate in this thing. It's a ghost town. Yeah, as they're taking their video at like 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning when nobody would be there. Here's what else has happened at the Mall of America. They very smartly were also putting the FIFA World Cup watch party for Team USA on there. And when they won last night, beating Bosnia, this is also on the National Mall. Yeah, but nobody's there. And, of course, they're saying it already. Oh, because that was a soccer watch party. Yeah, but it was part of the National Mall, and it was part of the Great American State Fair. Maybe we need things like that to bring us together. That's where sports are important to bring us together, and patriotism and pride, because I bet you all those people watching that game loved being there at that particular event. That's the real America. And, guys, it's not hard to find when you look for it. You look for people like the volunteers at these booths who wanted to make sure their states were represented despite their horrific state leadership. That's America. That's what this is all about. That's why we're celebrating America's 250th birthday, so you enjoy it too. Those people are great. I love that Donna lady. Didn't want any attention. Just wanted to bring some flyers and show up at the Massachusetts booth when her stupid state wouldn't. Thanks for finding me. I appreciate you so much. Getting closer and closer. We'll find something else patriotic as we lead into the big American birthday coming up this weekend. Audio podcast listeners, you can find that wherever you like to find them, whatever platform you prefer, right there. Also, the replay on X and YouTube and Facebook and now on TikTok, the entire thing, where as soon as we get off the live stream, where you can find that, where you can watch on your own schedule. Happy birthday, America. Remember the real Americans, the real patriots who always step up. I'll talk to you tomorrow.